Hello everybody, welcome to Module 3. This first slide shows an overview of what your assignments will be for this week. This is found in the assignment summary file, and you can find this when you go to Modules from the left menu. You'll see that this week we are covering sections 7.5 and 7.6, and I will talk through each of these individual assignments. For section 7.5, we're going to be looking at linear programming. And this is basically a way of solving inequality problems when there are restraints on either end. It may not be that everything has to be less than one value, but perhaps in between certain values. And we'll look at specific examples of how that works. And then in section 7.6, we're going to look at modeling data. And this will include looking at exponential data, logarithmic data, and quadratic functions. On the discussion board this week, you can earn your engagement by sharing your responses to these three scenarios. First, we're going to have a thread of example problems, and you can share your step-by-step solutions for each example problem listed. Please don't use anything from a graded assignment. However, this week we do not have a worked out homework assignment, which means that the problems in sections 7.5 and 7.6 would all make excellent example problems to post on the discussion board. We're also going to have a thread for you to explain a real-life use for linear programming. And I think once you get in and start looking at some examples of that, it'll be a lot more clear for the various ways that that can be used. And then our last thread is where we'll have our active learning questions, and you can respond to one of those in there. In my labs this week, you're going to have two sections to work on, 7.5 and 7.6, and as always, make sure you take those multiple attempts per question. You're going to have your second quiz this week. This is 10 questions, and it covers sections 7.3 through 7.6. You have 2 attempts, and the highest of those 2 grades is what's going to stay, so make sure you take both attempts. It's really going to be helpful for you, and you have 60 minutes for each attempt. You're also going to have a project this week, and this is your project 1 over quadratic functions. And basically, it's going to relate to a scenario involving the profit parabola. This is something that we can see when we investigate the scenario that is described in the assignment document. And of course, you can find that document under the Module 3 section. And then finally this week, you will have your first test, test 1. It will have 25 questions. Now, there's only 1 attempt allowed on the test, but you are allowed 90 minutes to complete the test. So hopefully that gives you plenty of time to cover those 25 questions, and make sure you practice beforehand. It's going to cover sections 6.3 to 6.5 and 7.3 to 7.6. So what I would highly recommend that you do is go back and review the problems from your homework sections and from the quizzes. And write those problems down on paper perhaps, and then work out your steps. And if there's a certain problem that you're struggling with, feel free to work it multiple times until you feel comfortable doing it on your own. Then that is a great way to prepare yourself for the test. All right, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Email me if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you on the engagement thread.